Welcome back. We are live. This is Sports Extravaganza. My name is Tony Kwalanda. Thank you for staying with us. If you're joining us, remember we just had the Kesavi Federation together with athletes who participate, of course, who are blind and also visually impaired. And they've told you about the different sports they participate in. Blind football, blind judo, showdown, powerlifting. Anyone wako na sports mingi sana they're participating in, of course, and they're keeping on to create awareness about those sports. Now we have our question of the day. Let me remind you of our question of the day. I know tumekuwa tukikimbiza sports, tukakusahau kidogo hiyo swali, but we just want to remind you the question of the day. We are asking you, which is the most popular sport in Kenya and why? I know every interview I conduct here, everybody was pulling to their side which sport they like or which is the most famous or most popular in Kenya. But you can talk to us. The numbers, you'll be seeing them below the screen. You can WhatsApp us, you can video link us, you can rather WhatsApp video us, voice note us, you can send a 22047 on SMS. Send it on all our social media platforms because we are live on all our social media platforms, TV47KE, na pia kwenye Facebook, TV47 Kenya, kwenye YouTube, TV47 Kenya. Right now we're shifting gears, going to matters rugby. Najua saa hii, ni venye sijapata scores za kama Menengai imepiga mtu ama Kabras imepiga mtu kwa the Enterprise Cup, but I also understand currently we also have the women's Kenya Cup final that is being played at Goan Institute, that is upper Nairobi, because there are different finals happening different places. Next week tuko na national teams doing us duty in Los Angeles in the 7th. Chipu 12 and Kabras 33, 12. Oilers 12. Woo! So of course back-to-back wins for Kabras. That is of course in the Enterprise Cup that was being played in Nakuru. Kabras again 33, Menengai Oilers 12. Yani this Rai Derby at their bigger brothers hawana huruma na Menengai Oilers. Hata wangewacha tu washinde Menengai washinde hii katika Enterprise Cup. But anyway, they were stamping the authority and showing who is the one. Now about rugby, I am not alone in studio. I am joined by the who is who in matters to do with rugby. Niko na wale wanguana wanajua rugby na rugby ni hao. And rugby is them. So of course I will start ladies first. I will start with Tabi Nashipai, who is a sports journalist.
Yes.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Karibu sana TV47.
Asante.
We are glad to have you.
Thank you.
And of course, an enthusiast and an analyst in rugby. We have a sports development coach. I'll insist nitumie hiyo. But he's also a former Kenya 15s international player. That is my very good friend, Martin Owile Omondi. Karibu sana. It's good to have you. And we have one of Kenya's top rugby analysts and commentators, that is Laban Matoke. Karibu.
Thanks.
Wacha tuanze haraka na wale walisikia no ladies first. Tabi, timu yako ni gani 15s? Ulisema hii swali lazima tukuulize. So before nisahau, timu yako 15s ni gani? Usiseme Menengai.
Timu yangu ni Kabras.
Kabras.
Nilikuwa nasema uniulize my 15th team of the season. Like
of the season. Yeah, tell us which is the team.
15th team of the season from the 2024-25 Kenya Cup. For the forwards, number 1 hapo kwa loose head, I am taking Atiti Francis of Menengai Oilers. And then hooker, I have Eugene Sifuna. Then najua watu wa KCB Martin, tasema niko biased.
Nako hapa.
Team ni yangu. Okay, so then tight head I'm going with Asuman Mugerwa Kabras. And then locks, hapo kwa locks Ibrahim Ayo Menengai Oilers. Number 5 Andikolo Mall, of course. Finally. Then hapo kwa flanks number 6 I am taking what is this name? Patrick Sabaitia, of course, number 7. And hapo kwa number 8 Jinson Misoga carries the day. Number 9 Onsomu. I'm taking Onsomu because nataka nichukue sati. Yeah, chukua Onsomu juu Angwech hajacheza. Dan Angwech Kabras RFC has been out on injury. Then 10 of course Ntabeni Dukisa. Hapo tunakubali Martin, sindo? Then Then hapa kwa fullback, I am going with Eric Cantona, and on both wings akona Griffin Chao and Timothy Omela. And then Samuel Ovwamu and Crispin Shitundo wamalize midfield. That's my team for the...
Na nani na coach?
Gibson Weru assisted by Carlos Cato. Okay, hakuna assist, like both coaches will be in charge of that team. Yeah.
Okay.
No, lazima ikuwe na mtu.
Martin, what do you think about that team, of course? And
from where she sits and actually what she does, I think she's the best person to be able to come up with such. But I think is best mixed. Yeah. Nimeshangaa tu nimesikia kama tuko tu na watu wawili kwa hiyo team.
Hata hiyo overdo.
Overdo.
Hata mmoja.
Actually, bench ndo tunaweza weka.
Yeah, but I think it's just how life is. Kuna time Queens walikuwa wanatoka 15, there's a time Nakuru you have 11, there's a time KCB had 18 players.
Yes.
So yeah, every time na season yake, every team na season yake.
Haya, true.
So
But okay, iko sawa.
Lakini mimi na feel vibaya considering that ajapata msee from a university side.
Imagine.
Okay, I will say sawa.
Hata black blood tu haina wazito.
Wacha niongee.
Just a break.
Nitaanza na nani? Nitaanza na hapo kwa 15 atasaidiwa na anaitwa nani this 15 of nimesahau jina yake. Si wa blood, wa Strathmore, small Victor Mola. Yes. And then who else am I putting kwa your bench?
But
yeah, Kubat Kuke. Kuke yako sawa. Niambie mwingine wa Strath.
Me I'll go with Shemo Kola, considering vitu zenye amepitia outside the rugby field na considering na vitu zenye ameperform, I'll go with him at inside center.
Yeah, and also for pia hapo kwa scrum I will have Queens Lucky
Diwal.
Yeah, Lucky Diwal, yeah.
And sasa sisi development coaches tutakuja ku develop.
We develop now also. But of course, Martin, let me bring in developing now. This season, in your own, I think in my own analysis, I'll say there's a lot of progress compared to the last season, Kenya rugby in the country. Will that be the same perspective that you have currently, the state? Has it improved? Has it stagnated from where you sit?
Well, I think it has improved because one, we saw teams coming up. You remember Black Lad making it for the playoffs, so that's a very great improvement. And not just once, I think even last season they met with the same team, Menengai Oilers. Oilers making it to the finals. It is really interesting that we actually noted this, I think, is their 8th final this year. So, you know, Fladis, Bingwa Fest, and the rest, Sevens and stuff like that. The mix that they had with Impala and the team that made that franchise, also they made it, I think they won the Bamburi Super Series, so that is a progress when it comes to the larger rugby fraternity. Nondis, a great show, from that team. That also was a good show. Queens, and entirely South Coast Pirates, I mean, first timers, but really did well. Especially, they really did well on and off the field. I mean, one of the people.
Social media
guy.
Social media.
I think ilifaa kuja kwa hii show.
Sasa tunaweza shout out maybe.
Yeah, the shout out to that guy.
Shout out
to that guy, Brian, awesome job. The guy just did his job well, and I'm really proud also of that team. South Coast Pirates, with Akina Brian Yukuli being coaches, and there Akina Kevin. So that entirety is improvement. But you know, where I sit as a player before playing Kenya Cup from Kisumu and then Nakuru and then to KCB, there's a place where I feel as a country tumeenda chini kidogo, because you remember where Impala used to be, you remember where Nakuru used to be, and stuff like that. So we really need to work it out, especially when it comes to Kenya Rugby Union, on how we can sustain teams and progress from there. Kisumu RFC, people are still complaining, lamenting how they beat Nodis and stuff like that. But we survive for Kenya Cup, and for us, from Kisumu community, we are very proud and we are very happy with the team. So big up to them.
Indeed. Laban, yourself, of course, just to carry on from where Wheeler has left, there's teams like Daystar University Falcons being promoted. I mean, that shows. And I'm a former Daystar student, and I've seen where Daystar has come from in terms of rugby. That shows that universities are really putting in a lot of effort to really bring up some nice sports teams, especially rugby.
Yeah. Talking about DStv, mi kwanza lazima nipatie the administration a shout out, considering wamewapatia the full support from walitoka nationwide, walikuwa championship, wame knock the door, hawakupata like 2 seasons, wamefika playoffs, hawa succeed, but finally wako into Kenya Cup. So shout out to DStv Falcons and DStv University administration. And then the coach Caleb Osire, kazi yenye amefanya like amechukua high schooler, so ndiye ametupatia Patrick Odonga. Odonga ametoka high school, ameshine 7s and huyu amecheza pia 15s for them, and then wameperform. So for a team like DStv, I'm looking forward really to see kitu watafanya in Kenya Cup next season.
And speaking even of DStv, after they won the championship league against most, even the sports the administrator of the school just said like that was their first Kenya Cup match. And just the fact that wanatupia people like Patrick Odongo, I mean Sai Odongo is like the star of Kenya Sevens. I mean, I feel like they just have more to bring to the to the Kenya Cup come next season.
That means we having 4 universities or so. Yeah, so that's also great progress. I mean, these teams are doing well, and it's interesting to inamaanisha tuko na away game pale DStv at the river. It's amazing because at the end of the day also it will be not just marketing the place but also trying to build rugby around that community. So big up to the universities. It is still our prayer that we are going to see the likes of Mid Machine, come back to where they've always been.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd like to have them university team. But of course, the progress have been there. Let's not forget the women's team. My director, you have some images of some rugby. I'd taken our girls playing.
Yeah.
Tafadhali play those clips kama uko nazo hapo. But the ladies, we'll also talk about Chipu, who sitting on a very balancing scale huko Bathurst.
Yeah.
They have the last game is tomorrow against Zimbabwe.
The hosts,
and they have lost 1, won 1. So they have to win this. Tricky, noma sana. But Tabi, let me ask you, we'll just engage you in terms of our girls, the progress I've made. Now, especially talking about the Lionesses. I know in version ya rugby, but where the Lioness, our women's sevens team has won the entire Challenger series. Ameshinda series yote. Wako huko. I'm sure, of course, with the groups and the teams that have been paired with, Dennis Mwanja and Co are up to it, Tabi.
Yeah, of course. Lionesses, again, everything boils down. First of all, congratulations to them winning the first 2 series in South Africa and the entire thing. First, the whole thing boils down to finances, number one. When Lionesses got sponsorship from M-Pesa, I feel like it was just a morale booster for them. You remember we were running stories back then of, Lionesses hawajalipa nyumba, they have not paid you, they have kids, but when the M-Pesa came in, I feel like there was that boost also. And pia the squad has been there long enough. We're talking about the likes of Kina Naomi Amuguni, Judith, like those people have been there, Kina Sharon Nauma. So I feel like they have the experience. And now going to LA, now what our play experience manze, hizi matimu zisitutoe, tumepiga Colombia, mbona tuende tupige Los Angeles. So I feel like they have everything it takes. The squad is now, more than ever. And remember, this is the first time Lionesses wakipanda kwa series, it will be the first ever time Lionesses from Kenya are being represented in the HSBC. So World Rugby pia wanasema like they are putting more resources towards women rugby, and I feel like if we qualify, like some good things will be on the way. Yeah, because I know even the World Rugby has
and an additional thing is like the union, the chairman's promised that if Lionesses gets promoted, watapata the same contracts kama the men's side, which is a plus.
That's
so
a plus,
yeah. So mi naombea Lionesses all the best. Tunataka pia with the same level na Shujaa, definitely.
Yeah,
indeed. And of course, before I bring in Wheeler to share about also the men's and stuff, Tabi, let's not forget about the 15s ladies. Please tell us. Unajua, focus na wanaume. Sijui Oilers. Na Mwamba wanacheza saa hii.
We need the hype. We need the hype for...
What is wrong? What is wrong? Mumebambisha mtu wa Pirates hapa hivi. Kwani ya mademu hakuna mse wa ku...
We need the hype for 15s as well. Hype is come to like sai time ya final. We need the hype around it. And come to think of it, time yenye Kenya Cup is coming to an end. Tunasikia, oh, we have a sponsor, whatever amount they give to us. But sasa hii ya madem, what are we doing about it? You see, again, we are talking about the opportunities men and women get. Even look at the hype. Sai Maton kikuliza, full-time KCB, full-time Oilers na Cabras, you already know it on the fingertips. Yeah. But itateka demand ndo mtu ajue full-time.
Hata ya madem tunajua.
Hata ili happen lini, that even will be the question. Kwani kulikuwa na nini? So I think we need a hype around that. Even us as media, we have like something to do. Just highlight the players. Joona kama Mwamba imetupea kina Snyder Nyachio manzi. That lady is a superstar. Kina Naomi Muguni, I won't stop mentioning her. So I feel like we need the hype around it. We need the hype. So
Martin, what could be the like you see in football? Again, I'm using a popular sport. Think about rugby. Like in football, you'll find Gor Mahia has a women's side. Okay. AFC has a women's side. Yeah. Please educate me. I might be speaking from a very ignorant point of view. In rugby, kitambo ilikuwa siku hizi mambo yameenda segemneke. What is the observation about this? What Tab is saying that there is no hype?
Yeah.
There is hype in the men's.
There is, inaweza kuwa ni true, especially with our setup. I think it's because of our setup as rugby fraternity and again in terms of just club setups. Most of these clubs are either owned, they're set up in terms of sponsorship. And this sponsorship, when the deal comes, it does strike on maybe the number of players or within a setup of a Kenya Cup or an ESS or whatever the measure is. So you'll find that most clubs don't have direct ownership to their ladies teams. Yeah, either they are related, yes, but it's not like they are part of. For example, now where I belong, KCB Rugby Football Club, it's not like we don't have a ladies team, but we have a community of ladies that play around KCB Rugby, northern suburbs. Yes. So our support to them comes in on individual. So it's not that sustainable. And I think that is now the conversation that we need to bring. Yeah. Impala has been having their women's team for the longest time. They are playing finals today with Mwamba, who I think have been winning this cup for the longest time. And so I think it's also high time we go find out what they're actually doing. Nakuru Rugby Football Club has given us a captain, Grace. The Kenya Lionesses, back-to-back champions, Poland and Cape Town. But Grace came from the age grade rugby. So Nakuru is so big in age grade rugby, all the way when Akina Mwalimu were there and the late Eric Stuma. But you don't hear of Nakuru RFC ladies team. Yeah, more and more. So yes, they exist, but as the hype that is being talked about is coming on, I think we need to be intentional about it. And the best organ to support us in this will just be Kenya Rugby Union. By setting some standards and like what IRB now is doing, they're saying that this is the coach team and they're bringing the women's team to even match the number. So putting them in that scale means that both the hype, both the media, both the focus is on both teams. Yeah. And then also let us not forget in terms of sustaining our numbers. Rugby is a physical contact sport and unlike other sports, rugby is the ultimate sport. As much as you use the popular sport as an example, rugby is the ultimate, and then there's others, and then kuna hizo zingine hobbies. So I'm sorry. Yeah, so for us, women's rugby so far has done well. Yeah. And for me, I want to say this as a player. I've been in the World Cup qualifiers before, but I think if we also give the same focus to women's rugby, Coach Mwanja and the team can actually be able to qualify for the World Cup, even at some point. And we saw it coming. Yeah. So we really need to put our heads together as the rugby fraternity and see that we put more support. And more support to the women's team will mean also can clubs help us with the same. Adopt the women that are actually training in your space. And then just have them be part of the team.
Yeah, of course, as we wind up, Tabi, I know I'll engage you in the leadership concerns that we have in rugby in a minute and a half or two in that space. And of course, what else? Maybe najua kuna kuban kuongea ulikunta kuongezea kitu.
Oh yeah.
Sema endelea tu sema tu sahi, of course, and then you can weigh into our Shujaa as we wind up.
Okay. Okay, so just adding on what Martin is saying on supporting the clubs, I feel like the best time to start is now. Now that the 15th season is over, we are heading to the 7th season. We don't want to see a scenario where Christy Sevens and Kabiberi Sevens or maybe Ingo is where we are seeing women's sides. Want to see even in Kisumu, Dala Sevens, can we have women's sides competing? Nakuru, when we go to Nakuru, can we have women's sides competing? And these women's sides should not be like playing on Friday when there are no fans in the ground. Like let them be mixed up. Leo tunaona Monks na KCB and then next it's a women's game so that the fans can get a taste of both sides. Because if we say we are just doing it in Nairobi, Nini, we are limiting the game even because I'm seeing even Cabras are trying to do something with the women's side and it's impressive, but let's give them exposure. Kwena game ndo hata Mwanja akwena depth. Let there be depth akitaka kupick squad because today if Sharon Ouma, God forbid, gets an injury, who is going to replace her on the wing? You see, so we need depth as well.
And Tony, this also is then a call to, I mean, the corporates in our country. We are asking for support towards the women's team. So, you know, 1, 2, and then tunapotea. We need something sustainable. As much as, you know, Nashpa is talking about us giving our women exposure. As I told you, when it comes to like 7 series, the NSC, we travel all around. So even sustaining that becomes a challenge. We then need to ask ourselves, is it possible? When we started playing rugby, nationwide used to be, you know, kwanza munacheza kwenyu, and then before you, ndio ukanyage Nairobi.
True.
Yeah, zika squeezy. So, I mean, it's something that maybe we can try and put in place. As we go for Dala Sevens, can we involve the women's team around Western? As we go to Nakuru, can we, and then we end, I believe something like that is in the pipeline. We just need to see how we put it in place. And also just to finish on matters of exposure.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Mademu wamepewa Friday. Mademu wamepewa Friday, de hakuna watu enye haiwezi. So I think also something that we can ask the union during sevens, before the finals, Sunday. Can we also have maybe the finals of the women coming in before the fight? So I think that those are some inputs that can help people to see more of women's rugby and, you know, be able to also attract the support and the hype.
We love that conversation about women. In fact,
sure.
I'll just segment it. In fact, I'll have just made it.
Awesome.
Laban, sasa wewe ndio unafunga hii mkutano.
For the women,
in 1 minute and a half.
There's a system for the ladies last season which was working actually. There were 2 conferences, one in Nairobi and the other in Western. So we had 4 teams from each conference. So the walkovers in those conferences were rare. But this season, Mwamba wamefika the Kenya Cup final by playing only 2 games the whole season.
Wow.
But last season walicheza more games considering walikuwa wanacheza na teams ziko karibu. It was na Impala, Nakuru teams, Northern Suburbs. And then finally kakuwa a team from Western and a team from Nairobi. I think if Kenya Rugby Union inaweza go back to that conference thing, inaweza kuwa a plus for the ladies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've just noticed that we just need to have a longer conversation about women's rugby development.
Yes.
In
development.
Kenya. There's a lot of areas that we need to tap in that we are not, and yet we want to expect them to do well internationally. And we are giving Kevin Mwambua the best talent, but the Mwanja Munamunyima talent. It's okay. But of course, this will be an ongoing conversation. I hope you can honor us every other Saturday, or at least some Saturdays, so at least you can really now tap into the state of rugby. Because hata jiongelelea juu ya KRU, because hao ndo walifanya one of the federations that caused the NOC elections not to happen.
Yes. Oh.
Yes, one of the 4 federations that did not agree on who should vote in the National Olympic of Kenya committee.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Martin Wheeler Omondi, who is a sports development coach. Thank you, Tabi Nashipai, who is a sports journalist with Mozart Sports in Kenya. And of course, Laban Matoke, who is a rugby commentator, a rugby analyst, one of the best in the country. Asanteni sana, gentlemen and lady, for really making time. Please, you're invited here every other Saturday the doors are open. In fact, sasa jina zenyu zimewekwa tu hapo, kwa mnakuja tu kusaidia. Asanteni sana of course, and enjoy your weekend. Of course, tunaenda tuambia Mwamba baadaye and Impala about their scores, the women's team, and of course the Menengai, the full scores, and of Kabras in the Enterprise Cup. You're taking a very, very short break. I'll be back with mixed martial arts techniques. Leo naenda kuburn calories na watu wa MMA after this break.